It always feels like something is going on at the Carlton Football Club. After a successful 2023, where the club made a preliminary final after 2 pulsating finals wins, 2024 fell flat at the end. Injuries to key players and a drop-off of form across the board led to a dive from second on the ladder at the end of round 16 to an 8th place finish due to the help of Port Adelaide beating Fremantle in the final game of the year. The elimination final itself was over at quarter time and shut down a topsy-turvy Blues campaign. But it felt like 2025 would be different, and the optimism was strong early in pre-season. However, with Nick Newman out for the year with a knee injury, and star-on-baller Sam Walsh hurt again, the on-field side has taken a hit, but not as big as the off-field. The whole Luke Sayers incident is bizarre. A nude photograph uploaded to Twitter, tagging a sponsor executive, and then taken down some 15 minutes later, with Sayers insisting and telling everyone he had been hacked. Then crickets. This fueled speculation of a mistake on Sayers' part, possible infidelity, and much, much more. But in another twist, the AFL's investigation found no wrongdoing by Sayers. Accordingly, the AFL has determined that Mr. Sayers did not breach AFL rules in connection with the posting of the image. Once he was made aware of the post, Mr. Sayers immediately acted to have the image removed and to shut down his X account. But even with being cleared by head office, Sayers curiously decided to step down as Carlton president, a role he had served for 3 seasons in conjunction with his 12 years on the club's board. No police have been involved in any way, and a key word people focused on in the statement by the AFL was that Sayers' Twitter had been compromised, opting not to use the word hacked. Later on, Sayers was pictured with his wife in Italy, and on surface level, there seems to be no apparent family issues, despite what was first rumoured. The Age's Jake Nile reported, and so it is a personal embarrassment, not corporate matters, that has led to Sayers withdrawing from public life, also taking leave from his business, of which he owns more than 25%, and remaining in Italy, where he has 2 villas and had been holidaying with wife Katie and his 4 daughters. The saga is over for now, but clearly the full story hasn't been told, and perhaps it shouldn't be. It's not the only scandal Sayers has endured. The PwC tax scandal saw Sayers take responsibility for the fiasco, although he denied he had any direct knowledge of what had taken place while he was CEO, and just like with this Twitter incident, he did not get any punishment laid upon him. Sayers was well liked at Carlton and did a good job. The Age said, Sayers rose to prominence on the back of his talents for networking and connecting. He is described by several who know him as a hugger. One of Sayers' defining traits, according to those who know him, is his boundless, almost Pollyanna-level positivity, irrespective of the financial or footy score. His charismatic, emotive style of leadership is against the grain of buttoned-up accountancy firms. His absence now leaves a big hole, and even though Graham Wright and Brian Cook, 2 experienced and successful football people, are still at Carlton, the presidency is now vacant and up for grabs. As of right now, there is no major war brewing over the position. The odds-on favourite has to be former AFL Commissioner and 3-time Premiership Blue, Mike Fitzpatrick. He was high on the list of names put forward as suggestions by prominent Carlton people. He is currently not on the board, and this is where some factions may form. Tom Elliott, son of famous Carlton president John Elliott, was on 3AW and insisted the next president should come from outside those on the current board. What that means for current interim presidents Robert Priestley and Paddy Connersley is unknown. The Age did report that Priestley is favoured internally for the sole presidency. And don't rule out Anthony Koutafidis, who just ran for Lord Mayor of Melbourne 3 months ago, but it does seem unlikely he would go on the Blues board, as he has just announced he is running for the federal seat of Melbourne. Politics seems to be his priority over football for now. but there is no doubt he would be a popular and charismatic president. Even former Treasurer Josh Frydenberg was pondered as an option, but he quickly made it clear he isn't a contender for the role. It's a big and prestigious position, the presidency of the Carlton Football Club, and hopefully for the Blues' sake, it can be a smooth transition. On the field, there are still high hopes of a big season. After a 63-point win against Geelong on Friday night in round 15, most people, whether they liked it or not, would have had to put the Blues as only second to Sydney at that stage in the premiership race. Now it did fall off after this, but this iteration of Carlton is what the Blues fans are hoping lasts for the entire 2025 season. Curnow and Mackay should be ready to go after both suffered injuries at the end of the home and away season, and they lead an impressive spine. Wiedering we know is rock solid, Cripps is the superstar, and don't forget about Tom De Koning, who should be the number one ruck for the entire year. He just needs some luck with his body, and with his contract expiring, it might push him to have a career best year. Carlton overall is top 7 in both age and games experience, which is a good sign, and their profile last year of being 4th in stoppage scoring and 4th in turnover scoring is elite. The data across the board is mostly green, besides being a bit leaky and allowing scores from stoppage. Michael Voss knows the top of his squad is great, but it is the last few pieces of the puzzle that right now remain a mystery. The midfield depth is one part. Hopefully Walsh can stay fit, but it's bleak besides Cripps. Hewitt is solid and hardworking. Chera has class, but is injury prone. Elijah Hollins is more of a high half forward, and Jagger Smith is a talented, albeit still physically weak rookie. It's a big worry, especially if Walsh is in and out of the lineup. And the other area of concern are the small forwards. The salary cap squeeze has really hurt Carlton here. Matt Owies isn't flashy, but he is productive, and with him joining the Eagles, it leaves a lot of pressure on Jesse Motlop, Corey Durden, Lockie Fogarty, and Orazio Fantasia. Motlop is the one out of the group who has flashed at times, and the 21-year-old is setting himself up for a breakout 4th campaign. The cake at Carlton is setting nicely on field, but the little bits of icing on top are still not quite finished. It's a delicate period for Carlton right now. They can't afford any more midfield injuries or stars to go down, and need the off-field role of the presidency to not be front page news in a month's time.